WWE Payback is this Sunday, and before we begin, I just want to talk about the ThunderDome briefly, because we have seen what has been over the past couple days, and I personally love it, but there is a line we shouldn't cross here, and I'll get to that in quite a minute, because there is a long list of things we need to get to with this ThunderDome. Over the past few days, we've seen stuff on the very less harmful, if not even harmless side, where we've seen Pikachu in the crowd, we've seen Mario in the crowd, we've seen local promotions like GCW or international promotions like GCW in the crowd, or at least their shirt being showcased on the ThunderDome screen. Then we go to the less harmless side of, getting momentum for the Fire the Velveteen Dream movement, especially when the Velveteen Dream came out as fucking Scott Steiner with the fucking chainmail and everything. On TakeOver 30, it was going to happen. You just don't do that shit. And I think there was something else. There's a long list. I don't remember everything. But the two or three rather main talking points here is a fucking Klansman in the crowd, which is, I don't care what you believe, I don't care what your religious beliefs is, you just don't do that shit in the crowd. Maybe he's a fucking Klansman, I don't fucking know, but why? I don't know why you'd wear that to an event. I just don't know why. To where we saw Chris Benoit for the first time in 15 years at least, on Raw, not once but twice in the ThunderDome screens, to where we saw an execution style video, not executing like making a business deal, executing not like a move, but actually killing someone on live television, or I guess live via the ThunderDome screen to live television, however that works, I'm not sure. But there is a line you don't cross here, and I don't care who you are. And yes, the trolls live, and that's great and everything. But WWE wasn't stupid. They knew this was going to happen. They're going to go after people for those FCC fines. It's just, excuse me. It's just, there's a time where being speechless is different, and just the sheer amazement of the absolute madmen in the ThunderDome, you have to respect it. You may not like it, but you have to respect it, But the show goes on nonetheless, and there is one match on the WWE card that we're not seeing on here, but it has been made official. So we'll just go through it anyway. First off, Rey Mysterio and Dominic Mysterio, the Mysterios face the Monday Night Messiah and his disciple Murphy. Ironically, a fellow disciple, Austin Theory, made his return to NXT this week, actually last night, or was it Thursday NXT? No, it wasn't. It was Wednesday NXT. Excuse me. But a couple nights ago, so it makes you think, will he come back for Payback? It's a possibility. We don't know for sure. But with this match, there's been rumors of Dominic turning on Rey. And if that's the case, I feel this would be way too early to do that. And it's, I'm going to pick Mysterios, but I would not be surprised if the greater good continued, just based on the emotional roller coaster these two have been in, where his father literally won his son's custody at SummerSlam. Then 15 years later, the man competes at SummerSlam. His son, rather, competes at SummerSlam in his first ever match in WWE. And now they team on live pay-per-view 15 years later. If that is not full circle, I don't know what is. But I have to say, for Dominic, his match with the Messiah at SummerSlam was incredible. Probably one of the best matches I've seen as far as WWE can make in a very long time. Just the emotional impact of it alone could make it a match of the year contender. But like I say, the Mysterios win. But I would not be surprised if Austin Theory returns and we have the Ministry of Rollins somewhat strengthened even more. Next up, we have the United States Championship, the right to become the face of America, as Apollo Crews defends against Lashley. Of course, Apollo retained against MVP in solid, sound fashion. And of course, these two had an arm wrestling contest. It happened. That's the best I can say about it personally. But I think Apollo retains. I just don't see Lashley holding a title in WWE. You know, it would be great on him, but if he's not going to win the world title, why give him any title at this point? It just makes no sense. Next up, Keith Lee against Randy Orton, rematch from Raw. Keith Lee, people have hated his new entrance theme, has hated his fucking onesie, but he is still the moment maker that we all know and love. The man can move like a heavyweight, move like a cruiserweight, move it at any weight, basically, you want him to. But that's not a style you should face against Randy Orton, because he can literally hit that RKO from literally anywhere. I don't really know how they'll do this, but I feel like Lee wins it because it just makes sense. It's a pay-per-view debut, give him a win. I'm not going to be surprised at all if Orton wins, but it's very possible if it does happen. Next up, the women's tag titles as Bayley Dos Straps and Sasha Banks. That's right, she's no longer two belts Banks. She lost the title to Asuka. She's never held a world title and successfully defended it ever in her life. Maybe on NXT, but as far as main roster, if you're excluding the tag titles, she has never successfully defended the Raw or SmackDown women's titles ever in her career or her life. It's just the meme lives and we love it. We love it because that fucking forehead does not deserve to hold the title. Ever, in my opinion. But they face the unlikely team of Shayna Baszler and the returning from suspension, even though regardless of how good that apology was or not, the walking Nia ability herself, Nia Jax, and Shayna Baszler will face them for the titles. I really don't know how you want to go with this. Baszler and Nia have been going at each other. I really don't know. But I feel like the continuing saga that is Bayley and Sasha, the instigating, the breakdown of the team finally happens. We get Nia and Shayna as tag champs. As unlikely as it is, we get it to happen. And finally, the Universal title match as the new champion, The Fiend, defends against the former champion, bald-ass Braun Strowman, and the returning Roman Reigns. That contract signing, by the way, is tonight on SmackDown. But this will be Roman's WrestleMania moment. It didn't happen because of COVID. Didn't happen because he didn't want to infect his infant young twins, which anyone would commend that for sure. As much as we shit on Roman Reigns in the past, family always comes first, and I'm glad to see that Roman saw during this pandemic that family means more than his career, and I love that. I love anyone that puts family over anything. It's just something that I personally believe, and anybody else should believe. It's just the way it should be. Unless you have a bad relationship with your family should always come first, regardless of what you think of them. But the path of Roman may be what it would have been at WrestleMania or Performance Center Mania or whatever you want to call it. Roman wins because it's Roman. That's what I initially feel. I would love to see the Fiend retain. I wouldn't be surprised if it happened at all. I would love it to happen, but I don't see it happening at all. And with that, Payback is this Sunday. We may have a kickoff match or two. We don't know yet. But to get this out in time for the ThunderDome on Payback, we'll just see what happens, and we'll see what else these absolute mad lads, these absolute legends can do on the ThunderDome screens, because it is great. But again, there is a line you don't cross. Some have crossed it, some haven't. For the ones that haven't, you're awesome. For the ones that have, fuck you.